All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music and doing it in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. So, yeah, REO Speedwagon is toast, folks. They're done. After 45 years, they are calling it quits. And it appears one person is to blame for this. And I will I will get to that. First of all, I want to say I had this a couple of days ago on this channel. The video had like 1,700 views. This is, you do the shadow banning stuff, and I kind of broke a story. I would think I was helpful in breaking a story. Maybe I wasn't the only one, but I had this information, and I'm like, okay, I guess people don't really care about REO Speedwagon. I put that video out, and it was kind of like crickets compared to what it should have. And pretty much all the videos I'm doing right now, 1,000 views, 1,500. Ooh, it's like, what the heck is going on, folks? So please, if you can help this channel out, Patreon, YouTube memberships, Buy Me a Coffee is starting to really help. All right. The numbers from Buy Me a Coffee are pretty impressive. And before I get into the Kevin Cronin debacle here, I want to say this. I'm thinking that why, if you have a platform, why would the platform continue to pay out when you can try to earn money a different way? Now, it's not guaranteed, though. It's not guaranteed that people are going to line up and donate to Patreon or become a YouTube member or buy me a coffee. But that might be their logic here. I don't know. Because again, revenue continues to be very stagnant. And someone told me that there's quite a bit of advertising going on in the political world, that people are seeing Kamala Harris advertisements. I'm sure Kevin Cronin supports Kamala Harris for president. I was joking around saying that maybe Bruce Hall is a Republican, and that's probably the issue. That's probably the issue. Bruce, sorry, you're not coming back, brother. We put up with your shenanigans long enough. He's probably a Democrat. They're probably all Democrats, but we know Kevin Cronin is a hardcore Democrat. Building the bridge. Remember Building the Bridge? Bill Clinton. Didn't he use it as like a campaign song? And Clinton was Ronald Reagan compared to Kamala Harris. So I don't know. They all don't seem to notice when things are shifting they're going so far left that left is now off a cliff. So let me read a statement here. It's a sad day for REO Speedwagon, as we mourn the loss of a great band. After 45 years, we've grown up with the band and mourn the tragedy of Gary Richrath's passing. Unfortunately, Kevin's ego has led to the demise of the band, causing heartbreak for many fans. We wish Bruce Hall all the best and hope that he, Neil, and Alan will continue to make music together. Interesting. Imagine a reunion. Where's Terry? Is Terry around? Terry Luttrell. Mike Murphy, is he still alive? I don't know about Mike, but I'm pretty sure Terry is still around. The memories of REO will always be cherished and will continue to crank up their music, remembering the good times. Let's be grateful for the magic of REO Speedwagon, the soundtrack of our lives, and hope for a reunion without Kevin in the future. Now, they're basically saying Kevin's done with REO, and the guys who are kind of in charge of REO, sounds like Neil has a say and Bruce has a say. And Kevin, based on his statement from the hospital room, he wants to work with other people. Now, here's the scenario I see setting up here. You might have a classic REO lineup get back together again. Now, without Gary Richrath, it's going to be rough. I know they had a couple of guitar players prior to Gary Richrath. I don't know if they're still alive. I don't know if they would be interested in being in REO Speedwagon again. But I see a couple of things here. The first thing is that Kevin Cronin will go off and do his solo thing. And it will be Kevin Cronin and the music of REO Speedwagon. That's my guess, unless there's some sort of legal thing that would stop him from doing that, which there could be. The other guys, I think, want to get back together and do something, and that could include Neil. You know, Neil might have left because he was tired of the BS, whatever the BS was. I'm sure he was tired of being a road dog, but, you know, he was the anchor back there on keyboards. And he's another guy that is totally underrated in the classic rock world. And Alan, the former drummer, Alan Gratzer, that would be a blast. Alan was a really impressive drummer within REO in the early days. He was just really good. So if you get those three guys, Bruce, Neil, Alan, and maybe you can coax Terry in again. I don't know if what Terry Luttrell is up to these days, but that would be a lot of that early classic REO lineup prior to Kevin Cronin. And Mike Murphy, who I think is a great singer, and a lot of people prefer his version of Riding the Storm Out. I kind of do. I kind of do. Look, Kevin Cronin, not the most masculine character on stage. And these days, especially, his voice has changed a lot. And so it'd be good to have maybe a stronger, tougher sounding voice leading the band at this stage. And Kevin seems like a nice guy. He seems like a good guy, but you know, I don't know what his thing is about Bruce Hall. It appears that, you know, Bruce has a say in all of this, and so does Neil. So we shall see. I'm talking about Neil Doughty, the keyboard player, in case people were wondering what his last name is. So another statement that they released here was REO has always been a family. What you all witnessed on stage was real for all those years. The brotherhood was real. The love and support from the crew has always been unwavering. Our entire family loved them and their families so very much. So this must be really difficult because certainly there were relationships here. But this is really just it's a tragedy because they could have worked this out, but it appears Kevin wanted out. So Bruce was cleared. He had the back surgery. He was cleared to play again. And Kevin and himself went back and forth for months trying to come to an agreement regarding Bruce's return. Sadly, they never were able to agree. It became apparent that Kevin was not willing to continue forward with Bruce in the band. Watching Bruce and Neil navigate this unbelievable situation was heartbreaking and inspiring at the same time. All they wanted was for the band to return to their 2023 lineup. Bruce wanted so badly to do a huge farewell tour. He wanted to bring in some special guests, Alan, Terry, Eric, and of course Neil. And this way they could put the wagon out to pasture the way they'd always dreamed of doing. So, you know, this had more or less become like the Kevin Cronin project. You know, once Neil packed it in, it's Kevin's band. And Kevin, again, as a solo artist, he could go out there and he's the voice of REO Speedwagon, for better or worse. And right now it's kind of worse, but there are going to be a lot of people that come out of the woodwork and say things like, yeah, I love Kevin Cronin. However, you know, I loved that early REO. Or, yeah, you know, I think Kevin may have softened the sound of REO a little bit too much. And those days back in the mid 70s when, you know, Kevin first was in the band, they still had their harder edge. And if you go back and listen to the early days of REO, it sounds like a blues band. It's just really great music with really excellent musicians. At that time, in the early days, even Irving Azoff was paying attention to REO Speedwagon, and he believed in them. And thus, when Irv believes in something, it typically goes somewhere, and it did. So for all the fans of REO, I'm not forsaking High Infidelity, which was one of the great albums of all time, and I listened to it backward and forward. I would say after Good Trouble, the band changed a bit. And, whether you like Can't Fight This Feeling anymore, I'm a little tired of it. I'm a little tired of that one song because, again, radio has focus tested them down to those two ballads, and they don't even play Keep On Loving You as much as Can't Fight This Feeling. I think Can't Fight is way more played and way more popular as far as downloads. But the entire High Infidelity album in context is a work of art. And I think Good Trouble is really good. And I think the stuff they did prior, You Can Tune a Piano, but You Can't Tune a Fish, that was just like a precursor to what was going to happen. But if you go back further into like REO, TWO, you're going to hear a completely different band. And a lot of people miss that style of music that they were trying to create back on those first two or three albums. So we shall see. I think it's probably more REO, maybe some old REO with a classic band lining up to perform, and probably not doing huge tours anymore. And then Kevin, who, he can punch his own ticket and just be Kevin Cronin of REO Speedwagon. But a lot of people are going to resent him because it appears that he broke up a truly great American band who really should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I'm pretty sure they've never even been nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is just stupid. It's just pure stupidity. All right. All right. So that's my REO recap brought to you by me. Remember, I did a video a couple of days before this broke and 1,700 views or something. Yeah. I don't know, folks. You got to help me out. The algorithm is just not my friend. You can support this channel, Patreon, YouTube memberships, and buy me a coffee, which has been working very well and has made up for some of the difference between what was and what now is happening. So thank you all for supporting. God bless everyone. God bless Bruce Hall and his family and all the old-time REOers. You guys are rock and roll to the core. That's the kind of music I love, and let's hope it continues in one form or another.